Many felt Obi-Wan Kenobi was off to a strong start, but that did not last long. However, there is very little coverage about how many were disappointed in the series or why. Because the entertainment media complex is busy writing articles on how disappointed they are with Star Wars fans over the reception to the third sister, portrayed by Moses Ingram. But is it fair to hold fans at large accountable for nasty messages only a few sent? Or is this deflection from something else? In this editorial, I'll go through how Ingram was prepped before the release, the origins of the Blame the Fans playbook, and what, if anything, they could be deflecting from. Before Obi-Wan ever aired, before anyone really knew what the series was about, who Moses Ingram was, or what role she would be playing in it. It almost appears as if Disney and Lucasfilm in a way groomed her to see Rossism everywhere. We know this because she told us in a May 22nd interview with The Independent, which was all about diversity and Rossism. The whole piece is behind a paywall, and there it shall remain, for I have no intention of financially supporting The Independent. But thanks to comicbookmovie.com, we have the pertinent quotes anyway. A particularly gaslighting one reads, "Obi-Wan is going to bring the most diversity I think we've ever seen in the galaxy before. To me, it's long overdue. If you've got talking droids and aliens, but no people of color, it doesn't make any sense. It's 2022, you know. So we're just at the beginning of that change, but I think to start that change is better than never having started it." This makes me think Moses Ingram hasn't seen any Star Wars made in, the last 4 decades? She certainly can't have seen anything made in the last 20 years, let alone anything else currently on Disney+. Either that, or this is but high-level gaslighting. Referencing the alleged rampant Rossism among fans, Ingram explained how Lucasfilm prepared her. It was something that Lucasfilm actually got in front of and said, "This is a thing that, unfortunately, likely will happen. But we are here to help you. You can let us know when it happens." Take a note of that. When it happens. Not if, but when it happens. Meaning, they were counting on it to happen, possibly to kick off their pre-planned post-release wave of marketing, which is all about dismissing any and all criticism leveled at the series as Rossism. Longtime watchers of this channel will recognize that strategy, because it is one we have documented many times before. Let's revisit the playbook. We first documented this playbook back in 2015 with the release of Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, or Fant4stick, which was the marketing title. For the contemporary record, check out our whole playlist dedicated to it. To briefly recap though, what fans wanted at the time was for the MCU to be enriched by not only a comic book accurate first family, but their rogues gallery, which includes both Doctor Doom, Galactus, the Silver Surfer, and so many others on the cosmic side. The purpose of this movie was explicitly to prevent that from happening, as it was but a rights retainer. Making matters even worse, it was given to a director who tried to change it into something it wasn't, and his choice of cast reflected that. As everyone in the whole movie was miscast. But the entertainment media complex never acknowledged any of that. Instead, their narrative was that the only reason anyone could possibly be against the movie was that Michael B. Jordan was playing Johnny Storm. I'm not denying that there may have been some comments of Rossist nature directed at him, and that was despicable. But they were exceedingly few, exceedingly far between, and not representative of the fans at large. But that didn't matter. The whole fan base was raked through the coal and gaslit as Rossists. Financially, however, it didn't work, as audiences weren't shamed into going, and so the movie flopped hard. Had it only ended there. For years, fans had wanted a Ghostbusters sequel, in which the original cast passed the mantle to a new generation. The last thing, and I mean the absolute last thing that fans would ever want was a remake. Don't believe me? Well, ask yourself, in what regard are the remakes for The Karate Kid, Red Dawn, Conan, Child's Play, or anything else held in? So naturally, Amy Pascal, then head of Sony Pictures, decided a remake was what fans were getting. At that point, the movie was already doomed. But on top of that, Paul Feig remade it as a subversive female-centric parody with misandrist overtones. This enabled the marketing department and their hired PR firms to use the female-centric angle to deflect from the real issue, namely that it wasn't the continuation that fans wanted. The gaslighting of fans took on a whole new level when the movie became embroiled in the 2016 presidential election. Entertainment and politics, most notably identity politics, had been mixed. The playbook was now complete. Paul Feig's Ghostbusters flopped even harder than Fantastic though, because no amount of shaming could change the fact that it wasn't the movie that fans wanted. We know this because years later, Sony allowed the Reitmans to make the movie that fans wanted in the first place with Ghostbusters Afterlife. According to current Sony chief Tom Rothman, it did so well that the franchise now will continue with many more sequels to come. See, that's how you do it. The fans are your bread and butter, not your enemy, so maybe not treat them like enemies. Alas, if there is a company that has treated its audience as enemies in recent years, it's Lucasfilm. As we've established, the playbook on dealing with legitimate fan criticism now includes simply ignoring that legitimate criticism, and instead dismiss any and all criticism as Rossicism, all while adding a political component. This is the Lucasfilm way. We've already seen it in the sequel trilogy. It largely took a break for The Mandalorian, where diversity was organic and a complete non-issue, but on Obi-Wan, it's back in full force. Ingram received allegedly hundreds of Rossicist comments and threats, of which she shared a few which would appear to be Instagram direct messages. While despicable and indefensible, they were from no-name users with no following, no sway, no influence, and who in no way, shape or form represents the fanbase at large. The playbook was nonetheless employed, and fire and fury unleashed. Forbes wrote, "The Star Wars fanbase is infamous for its toxic fringe, the loud minority of hypercritical fans that harass actors for daring to play their parts. Their criticism overwhelmingly infused with sexist and Rossicist commentary." The official Star Wars account stated, "We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say: we resist." In a follow-up, they said, "There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a Rossicist." Which is particularly tone-deaf, considering how Lucasfilm sidelined both Finn and Rose Tico, and how parent company Disney shrunk Finn and hid Chadwick Boseman's face on Chinese posters, all while shooting Mulan right next to Chinese concentration camps. Double standards aside, Ewan McGregor also showed his support, and CNN were quick to point out how good Star Wars had acted in standing up to the fans, while NPR decried Star Wars for not having done enough. Mother Jones wrote an article titled, "Why Can't These Star Wars Nerds Imagine a World with Black People?" with the byline, "Fans are being Rossicists again." Are they though? Or is this more deflection aimed at shaming audiences into seeing another product than the one they wanted? Moses Ingram is by all accounts a fine actress, but on Obi-Wan Kenobi, she had the misfortune of being straddled with a character who is written as a pouty and angry child with a chip on her shoulder. And no one likes a character like that. Replace Ingram with a white actress, or actor for that matter, and the character still wouldn't have been received well. You see anyone complaining about Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito, or Ming-Na Wen in The Mandalorian? No, you don't, because none of them were written as pouty and angry children with a chip on their shoulders. I get that there is an arc in progress, but that won't redeem Reva from having acted like a pouty and angry child with a chip on her shoulder up till this point. Because again, no one likes adults acting like pouty and angry children with a chip on their shoulders. If anything, it is irresponsible of the showrunners and producers to straddle Moses Ingram with such a role. Alas, fans who point this out are shut down by those pushing the playbook. The earlier referenced Forbes article even made a point of chastising those who would dare to criticize the writing of this particular character. referencing a number of Twitter exchanges in which well-articulated fans do just that, only to be held accountable for Ross's opinions they themselves never expressed, or actions they never did. While this is going on, reviews from episode 3 make it increasingly clear that while fans may have wanted an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, they did not want this one. In the next video, I will break down why not, as we go through what compelled Lucasfilm to pull another Last Jedi, which is exactly what they have done. To make sure you don't miss out on that, please like this video, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and activate notifications. I'd also like to ask returning subscribers to check that you are indeed still subscribed and still set to receive notifications, as not a day goes by without a couple of regular watchers informing us they were unsubscribed by this platform without their consent. With that, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments.